For service companies, time literally equals money, so it's very important not to lose team time when we invoice our clients. Hi, I'm Anton, and in this session we will look at what time-based invoicing methods we may use and how to organize Jira for these cases. Let's look at the components of a common invoicing process. It includes time tracking, invoice creation, and reporting. Let's start with a time tracking. Time tracking is a pretty straightforward thing, and I will give just a couple of advices here. First of all, most likely you would like to use some third-party marketplace app for time tracking, since built-in Jira time tracking usually is not enough for service company needs. There are a lot of such apps, so you could easily choose the best option for you. Next point is that it's a very good practice to make timesheets approval process at the end of the month, when team leads review team time and check that there are no wrong or missing time entries. This is how timesheets approval works in Tempo timesheets. Any person should submit time for review, and team leads can approve or reject timesheets. It's also a very good practice to close time period before invoicing. That guarantees that nobody can change log time after we send invoices to clients. For example, in Tempo timesheets, after the team lead approves time period, it becomes closed, so nobody can put changes. Another important task is tracking billable and non-billable time. If we want to go with plain Jira without any marketplace apps, we will have to create separate tasks to track billable and non-billable time. And we need some way to make a difference between such tasks. For example, that could be a custom issue field that we set for each task. And if we need more flexibility, we need to find some time tracking app that allows working with billable and non-billable time. For example, we may need to partially write off part of the logged time to exclude it from the invoice. This is how the Tempo Timesheets app allows logging billable and non-billable time separately for any task. Now, let's look at different time-based invoicing methods for teamwork and see how we can automate invoice creation in Jira. I will use the Clerk Invoices app, so let me make a quick intro first that you could better understand my examples. The app has the Invoice Generator that allows building multiple invoices for multiple clients with one click based on invoice templates. We need to select a date range to import time from Jira and just click Generate Invoices button. Each invoice template has a time filter that defines what time will get into the invoice. Plus, it has a team scheme that breaks down all invoice time into roles, like junior developers time, middle developers time, etc. And it has a price list that defines the hourly rate for each role. Let's start with the most simple invoicing method, when we charge a flat rate for all team members. We also need to think how we separate time of different clients in Jira. The easiest way is to create one or few Jira projects for each client. I will assume that we are using this way in all my examples. Let's look at how we can create flat rate invoices in Jira. To create an invoice template for the flat rate billing, let's create a single role with the name All Employees. Then create a team scheme that tells that all people are playing this role. And create a price list to define our flat rate. Now, let's create the invoice template for a specific client. We add one time-based line, filter time to include client project only, and set our team scheme and price list that we have just created. Now we can open this invoice template in the Invoice Generator and generate an invoice from it. And this is the invoice that we get. The next invoicing method is probably the most popular one, when we have different rates for different team roles and seniority levels, like middle designer, senior developer, etc. Let's look at how we can create invoices in this case. The first thing to do is to create a list of roles that people play in our team. Then we need to create a team scheme that will define who plays which role. You can create multiple team schemes if the same person may play multiple roles. And we need to create a price list with rates for each role. Now let's create the invoice template. We add one time-based line, filter time to include client's project only, and set our team scheme and the price list that we have just created. Now we can open the Invoice Generator and generate an invoice from this template. This is the invoice that we get. You see, we have a breakdown by roles with corresponding hourly rates. Another way how we can charge our clients is to have a different rate for each team member. For example, we may decide to put some margin on top of the salary of each employee. Let's look at how we can create invoices in this case. We need to make a small workaround for this case and create a personal role for each employee. After that, we need to create a team scheme that makes mapping between employees and their personal roles. And create a price list with rates for each person. In the same way, we create an invoice template with one time-based line and set the team scheme and the price list that we have just created. Now we can use this invoice template in the generator. And this is the invoice that we have built. Each person takes a separate line with a corresponding hourly rate. Let's look at another common example, when we need to include only billable time in the invoice. This will work for any invoicing method. If we use the tempo timesheets for time tracking, this could be done very easily using time filters. The overall invoice creation process is the same. The only thing we need is to add an additional billable time filter in the invoice template. After that, you can generate invoices from this template the same way. Another popular method is to invoice for the completed tasks only. Like with billable time, we need to add one extra time filter that will include only tasks in a specific Jira status. Let's use Jira saved filters for this case. We need to open the advanced issue search and include only issues that have done status. We need to save the filter and make it visible to the entire organization. Now this time filter will be available in the invoice templates. After we add our saved Jira filter as a time filter, all invoices will include time from the completed tasks only. But if we are going to create multiple invoices from this template, we may face one issue. The second invoice that we will generate may include time from the first one, since completed tasks from the first invoice still have done status. To avoid double invoicing, we need to add one extra time filter that will import only uninvoiced time into the invoice. Now our invoice template is ready to use. Reporting for clients is another very important component of the invoicing process. Being transparent and clear with clients helps to avoid any issues and delays with payments. Let's look at what reporting options we have in Jira. You can use any reporting app from the Atlassian marketplace. There are plenty of them. Or you can use reporting feature of your third-party time tracking app like Tempo. Usually such apps have a pretty straightforward interface to generate reports and export them to PDF or CSV. If you are using the Clerk Invoices app, any invoice will automatically have a time report attached. Plus, it will also include a cost report, not just time. You can customize the details that you see in the time report and define the breakdown hierarchy. Another important thing is confidence that we have not lost any billable time. Clerk Invoices helps with this by showing monthly time report. We can see how much uninvoiced billable time we have for a specific month, and a breakdown of this time into projects. I hope that after watching this session, you could improve your invoicing pipeline, make it more automated and reliable. If you will have any questions, you can email me or message me in LinkedIn. And thank you for watching.